The screech of tires pierced the quiet suburban street as Samantha's car veered wildly, slamming into the curb with a jolt that threw her forward against the seatbelt. I, Sage, watched in horror from the passenger seat, my heart pounding as the engine sputtered to a stop. In that frozen moment, she turned to me, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and something deeper, and without warning, she leaned in and kissed me, a desperate, lingering kiss that shattered every boundary I thought we had. It all started innocently enough in our cozy neighborhood in suburban Chicago, where manicured lawns and white picket fences hid the undercurrents of everyday lives. I was 35, a high school English teacher who'd sworn off romance after a messy divorce 5 years ago, focusing instead on my quiet routine, grading papers, jogging at dawn, and occasionally waving to the neighbors. The Millers lived next door: Tom, a stern accountant, Linda, his homemaker wife, and their daughter Samantha, who at 22 had just graduated college and moved back home while job hunting. She was bright, ambitious, with a laugh that could light up the block, but her parents treated her like she was still in pigtails. One afternoon last spring, Tom knocked on my door, his face etched with the kind of parental exasperation I knew too well from my students' families. "Sage, you're good with kids, right? Samantha needs to learn to drive properly. She's got her learner's permit, but Linda and I are too busy. Could you help? We'd pay you, of course." I hesitated. Teaching teens Shakespeare was one thing, but behind the wheel? Still, the extra cash appealed, and Samantha seemed eager when I agreed. Our first lesson was awkward. She gripped the wheel like it might bite, her knuckles white. "Relax, Sam," I said, using the nickname she'd insisted on. "Driving's about control, but not forcing it." She nodded, her blue eyes flicking to mine with gratitude. As weeks passed, those lessons became the highlight of my days. We'd cruise the empty back roads, windows down, radio playing soft indie tunes. Samantha opened up about her life, the pressure from her conservative parents to find a stable job, marry a nice guy, settle down. "They don't get me," she'd say, her voice tinged with frustration. "I want more than that cookie-cutter dream." I shared bits of my own story. My ex-husband's infidelity, how I'd rebuilt myself alone. There was a comfort in our talks, a shared sense of being outsiders in our own worlds. But I noticed the way her gaze lingered sometimes, the brush of her hand when shifting gears. I chalked it up to admiration, nothing more. Then came the family barbecue. The Millers invited the block over for 4th of July, fireworks crackling overhead as burgers sizzled. Samantha and I stole away to the garage for a quick lesson review, laughing over her latest parallel parking fail. "You're getting better," I teased. She stepped closer, the air thick with smoke and unspoken tension. "Thanks to you, Sage. You've been everything." Her words hung there, heavy. I felt a pull, a dangerous one, but pushed it down. She was young, impressionable, my neighbor's daughter, for God's sake. Back in the car after that near-crash kiss, I pulled away, my mind reeling. "Samantha, what the hell?" My voice was sharp, laced with panic. She looked stricken, tears welling.
"I'm sorry. Just."
I couldn't hold it in anymore. "Driving with you, talking. It's the only time I feel real." Her confession hit like a wave, stirring something in me I'd buried deep. I'd always known I was attracted to women, but after my marriage I'd convinced myself it was a phase, something to ignore for a normal life. Now here was Samantha forcing me to confront it. That night I paced my living room, the kiss replaying endlessly. Should I tell her parents? End the lessons? But the thought of cutting her off twisted my gut. She texted, "Please don't hate me. I need you." I didn't reply, but sleep evaded me, haunted by the what-ifs. The next morning she showed up at my door, eyes red-rimmed. "We have to talk," she said. I let her in, the air between us electric with unspoken desires and fears. Our conversation spilled out in fragments, her realizing her feelings in college, dating guys to please her parents but feeling empty. "With you it's different. Real." I admitted my own confusion, the societal weight I'd carried. "This could ruin everything, Sam. Your family, my job, people talk." But as we spoke, the barriers crumbled. We agreed to keep it secret, just explore what this was. Lessons continued, but now laced with stolen glances, tentative touches. Tension built as summer faded. Samantha's job search led to an offer in the city, but her parents pushed her toward a local firm, closer to home, and potential suitors. "They want me to date Mark from church," she confided one evening, parked by the lake. He's nice, but... Her hand found mine, squeezing. I felt jealousy flare, irrational and fierce. Don't, I whispered. That night under the stars we shared our first real embrace, careful, yearning, but stopping short of anything more. It was enough to ignite the fire. Whispers started in the neighborhood. Mrs. Jenkins across the street mentioned seeing us together a lot. I brushed it off, but paranoia set in. At school I overheard colleagues discussing alternative lifestyles with disdain, reminding me of the risks. Samantha's inner conflict deepened. She loved her parents but chafed against their expectations. If they knew it'd kill them, she said, voice breaking. One evening after a lesson we argued. We can't keep hiding, she pressed. I want to be with you openly. I snapped back. It's not that simple. You're young. You don't understand the fallout. Hurt flashed in her eyes. Maybe you're the one scared. She stormed off, leaving me alone with my doubts. That fight lingered, a crack in our fragile bond. The next day Tom called. Sage, Samantha's been acting strange. Skipping family dinners, secretive. You notice anything during lessons? My throat tightened. No, she's fine. Lying came too easily, but guilt gnawed.
I met Samantha later, apologizing.
We reconciled, but the strain showed. She began pulling away, canceling lessons, citing busyness. Then the betrayal hit. I saw her at the coffee shop with Mark, laughing, his hand on her arm. Jealousy surged, but worse was the fear she'd chosen the easy path. Confronting her, she admitted. Mom set it up. I went to appease them. But her eyes told more doubt, perhaps regret. Is this what you want? I asked, voice trembling. She hesitated, and in that pause everything shifted. The hesitation in Samantha's eyes that day at the coffee shop carved a wound deeper than any words could. I don't know anymore, she finally whispered, avoiding my gaze. Mark hovered in the background, oblivious, but I felt the world closing in, the choice she was making, the one that would erase us. Back home I replayed our moments. The way her laughter filled the car during drives, how she'd rest her head on my shoulder at red lights, sharing dreams of escaping the suburbs. Now it all felt tainted. I threw myself into work, grading essays until my eyes burned, but her absence echoed. Texts went unanswered. Lessons were officially done per her message. Need space, it read. Space from what? From me? From herself? Samantha's family life intensified the pressure. Linda, ever the meddler, organized blind dates, church events, all disguised as networking. Samantha confided once in a rare call, they think I'm depressed about the job hunt. If only they knew. Her voice cracked, revealing the toll. She was torn between authenticity and the safety of conformity. Coming out would destroy them. Dad's heart condition. Mom's social circle. I wanted to scream that she deserved better, but who was I to judge? At 35, I'd hidden my truth for years, marrying a man to fit the mold. Neighborhood gossip escalated. At a block party, Mrs. Jenkins pulled me aside. You and Samantha seem close. Careful. People might get ideas. Her tone dripped judgment, a reminder of the conservative underbelly here. Chicago's progressive vibe didn't extend to our enclave, where church steeples loomed and rainbow flags were scarce. I smiled tightly, but inside fear coiled. What if someone suspected? My job at the public school could be jeopardized. Tenure didn't protect against scandals. Samantha's internal storm raged. She journaled late nights, questioning her identity. Am I really this way, or is it just Sage? Doubt plagued her, societal voices whispering it was a phase, a rebellion. But memories of our kisses, chaste yet charged, affirmed it. Still, the cost loomed. Losing her family's approval, the only constant in her life. One rainy afternoon, she showed up unannounced, soaked and shivering. I can't do this, she blurted. We sat on my porch, the downpour mirroring her turmoil. Mark asked me out officially. Mom's thrilled. My heart sank. And you? She buried her face in her hands. I said yes. To buy time. Felt like a punch. Time for what? To pretend. Anger flared, but beneath it hurt. She reached for me, but I pulled back. This is betrayal, Sam. The argument escalated, voices rising over the thunder. You don't understand. If I tell them about us, it'll be war. Dad's already stressed about work. I countered. Hiding is killing you and us. Tears streamed as she admitted the fear. Rejection, isolation. What if they disown me? In that vulnerability, I saw my younger self, the girl who'd suppressed her feelings to avoid pain. We parted unresolved, the rift widening. Days blurred into weeks. I spotted her with Mark at local spots, the diner, the park, performing the role of the dutiful daughter. Jealousy morphed into resentment. Was I just an experiment? A safe harbor before she sailed to heteronormative shores? My own reflections darkened. Had I led her astray? As her teacher figure, was this ethical? The age gap, though not vast, amplified the power imbalance in my mind. Then the confrontation with her parents brewed. Tom cornered me in the driveway one evening. Samantha's been distant. She mentions you a lot. Says you're like a mentor. His eyes searched mine, suspicious. Just driving lessons, I lied, pulse racing. But Linda's intuition sharpened. She invited me over for dinner, probing casually. You never remarried, Sage? Must be lonely. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. Samantha sat silently, avoiding contact, the tension palpable. That night exploded. After dinner, Samantha and I stole a moment in the kitchen. I can't keep seeing him, she whispered urgently. It's you I want. Relief flooded me, but then Linda walked in, catching our intense stare. What's going on? She demanded. Samantha froze. I mumbled an excuse and fled. The fallout began. Samantha confessed partially to her parents, admitting confusion about her path but omitting us. They reacted with concern, suggesting therapy for direction. It's that liberal college influence, Tom grumbled. Samantha resisted, but the session started, a Christian counselor reinforcing traditional values. She texted me snippets. He says it's a choice, but it doesn't feel like one. My own crisis peaked. Colleagues at school shared articles on protecting youth from influences, igniting paranoia. I considered moving, starting fresh, but the thought of abandoning her stung. Instead, I researched support groups, LGBTQ resources in the city, quietly planning an escape for us both. Samantha's breaking point came during a family trip. Alone in her room afterward, she called me sobbing. The therapist asked about relationships. I almost told him. Courage flickered, but fear doused it. What if I'm wrong? I urged her, trust yourself. The pain of hiding is worse. That call reignited our connection. Secret meetings resuming in hidden spots. A park bench at dusk, a cafe outside town. But secrets breed mistakes. One evening, Mark confronted her. You're distant. Is there someone else? She denied, but he pressed, following her one day to our meetup. Seeing us together, hands linked briefly, he pieced it together. This is sick, he spat later, threatening to tell her parents. Panic ensued. Samantha begged him for silence, but loyalty to the church won. He informed Tom and Linda, framing it as concern. The storm hit that night, shouts echoing from next door. I watched from my window, helpless, as Samantha's car sped away. She arrived at my door, bags in hand. They know everything. Her face was ashen, marked by betrayal's sting. Dad called me unnatural. Mom cried about grandkids. The words hung heavy, the price of truth laid bare. In the dim light of my living room, Samantha collapsed onto the couch, her body racked with sobs that seemed to echo the fracture in her world. They threw me out, Sage. Said I need to fix myself or not come back. The raw pain in her voice pierced me. This was the cost we'd both dreaded, now inescapably real. I held her as she poured out the details, the accusations flying like daggers. How could you do this to us? From Linda. It's that woman's fault. From Tom. Mark's revelation had ignited the fuse, but the explosives were years of unspoken expectations. Samantha had stood her ground, declaring her love for me, but it only fueled their rage. They think you're grooming me, she whispered, the word twisting like a knife. At 22, she was an adult, but to them, she remained their little girl, corrupted. That night, we navigated the wreckage. I offered her my guest room, a temporary haven, but the air was thick with uncertainty. What now? She asked, eyes searching mine for answers I didn't have. I felt the weight of responsibility. Had my encouragement pushed her too far, too fast? My own family history flashed. Parents who disapproved of my divorce, subtly blaming my independence. Coming out to them now seemed inevitable but terrifying. Morning brought harsh reality. Samantha's phone buzzed incessantly, texts from her parents alternating between pleas and condemnations. "Come home, we can get help," read one from Linda. "Don't ruin your life," from Tom. She ignored them, but each notification chipped at her resolve. We decided on a plan. She'd stay with me while applying for apartments in the city, leaning on her new job for independence. But whispers spread fast in our tight-knit suburb. At school, the principal called me in. "We've had a complaint," he said gravely. Anonymous, of course, likely from the Millers or their circle. Inappropriate involvement with a former student's family. Samantha wasn't my student, but the implication hung. I defended myself calmly, but inside dread churned. Tenure protected me somewhat, but scandals could erode reputations. Colleagues side-eyed me in the halls, the rumor mill churning. Samantha faced her own battles. At her entry-level marketing job, she thrived, but the emotional drain showed dark circles, forced smiles. Friends from college reached out, some supportive, others judgmental. "Is it worth losing your family?" one asked. She wrestled with guilt, second-guessing her choices. "Maybe I should have waited," she'd murmur late nights, curled beside me on the couch. Our relationship deepened in secrecy's shadow, but intimacy remained emotional, boundaries respected amid the chaos. The Millers escalated. Tom showed up at my door one evening, face flushed with anger. "You've destroyed my daughter," he bellowed. I stood firm, door cracked. "She's an adult, Tom. This is her choice." He threatened legal action, harassment, alienation. Empty bluffs but unsettling. Samantha hid inside, trembling. After he left, she broke down. "This is my fault. I pursued you." I reassured her, but doubt crept in. Was our age difference a barrier? Society's lens magnified it, painting me as the predator. Community backlash intensified. Church flyers appeared in mailboxes decrying moral decay. Neighbors avoided eye contact. Invitations dried up. I felt isolated, questioning if love was worth this exile. Samantha's therapy continued, now with a neutral counselor she chose, one affirming her identity. Sessions unearthed buried traumas, childhood pressures to be perfect, suppressing crushes on girls. "I'm not broken," she affirmed, but healing was slow. A turning point came at a family mediation her parents requested. In a neutral office, tensions boiled. Linda wept. "We raised you right, why this?" Tom glared at me. "You took advantage." Samantha defended us fiercely. "I love her. This isn't a phase." I spoke up, sharing my journey, the years of denial. But they dismissed it as influence. The session ended in stalemate, but Samantha's resolve hardened. "I won't go back to pretending." Post-mediation, we sought solace in the city. Anonymous dates at queer-friendly cafes where we blended in. There, she met others with similar stories, building a support network. "I feel seen," she said, a spark returning. But the high was fleeting. Back home, reality bit. Betrayal struck again, this time from within. Samantha's cousin, close like a sister, leaked details online. An anonymous post on a local forum. Neighbor seduces young woman, family torn apart. Comments poured in, vicious and divided. Some sympathized. "Love is love." Others condemned. "Disgusting, protect the kids." The post went viral in our small circle, amplifying the scrutiny. My job hung by a thread. Parents complained to the school board, demanding investigation. I lawyered up, preparing statements, but the stress exhausted me. Sleepless nights fueled arguments with Samantha. "Maybe we should pause," I suggested once, weary. Her eyes flashed hurt. "So give up? After everything?" It was a low blow born of fear, but it widened the crack. Samantha's awakening deepened. She volunteered at an LGBTQ center, channeling pain into purpose. "This fight's bigger than us," she said. Inspired, she confronted her parents again, alone. "Accept me or lose me." They softened slightly. Linda admitted fear of societal judgment, but Tom remained rigid. "It's against our beliefs." As autumn leaves fell, our bond tested further. Samantha received a promotion, requiring relocation downtown. "Come with me," she urged. The idea thrilled and terrified. I'd built my life here, stable if stifling. Uprooting meant starting over, facing unknowns. What if it doesn't work? I voiced, exposing my insecurities. The decision loomed, a crossroads of sacrifice. Samantha packed, determined. I can't stay in this toxicity. I weighed the costs, leaving my home job security for a chance at authenticity. In quiet moments I reflected on the moral maze. Had love justified the pain inflicted? The boxes stacked in my hallway symbolized the leap we were about to take, but as Samantha loaded her car, doubt shadowed every move. Are you sure? She asked, her voice a mix of hope and hesitation. I nodded, but inside the moral quandary churned. Was pursuing this worth the wreckage left behind? Relocation to Chicago's bustling Lincoln Park neighborhood offered a fresh start. Samantha's apartment was small but ours, filled with plants, books, and the tentative rhythm of cohabitation. Away from suburban eyes, we breathed easier, holding hands in public without paranoia. Her job flourished. She designed campaigns for inclusive brands, finding purpose in advocacy. I commuted to school initially, but the distance strained, prompting a job search in the city. Yet, echoes of the past haunted. Samantha's parents called sporadically, conversations laced with guilt-tripping. We miss you, Linda would say, implying return meant conformity. Tom remained distant, his silence a weapon. Samantha grieved the loss, nights spent staring at old photos, whispering, did I choose wrong? Her inner conflict peaked during holidays, Thanksgiving alone. The empty chairs a stark reminder of family bonds severed. My own family confronted the truth. Over a tense dinner, I came out to my parents, introducing Samantha via video. Mom's eyes widened. But you're older. And a woman. Dad frowned. Think of the complications. Their acceptance was lukewarm, conditional on discretion. Don't flaunt it, Mom advised. The judgment stung, mirroring societal biases we'd fled. Professional repercussions followed. My school board cleared me, but the stigma lingered. I resigned, taking a position at a progressive urban high school. Their colleagues were allies, but starting over meant proving myself anew. Students shared their stories, inspiring me, but the transition exhausted. Long hours adapting curricula. Our relationship evolved amid the turmoil. Mornings brought coffee-fueled talks, evenings walks along Lake Michigan, where waves mirrored our emotional tides. But arguments arose from unresolved wounds. You pushed me to come out, Samantha accused once after a bad day. I was ready, weren't you? I retorted. Truth was we'd both rushed, propelled by passion over prudence. Societal pressures persisted. At a pride event we felt empowered, surrounded by community. But online trolls targeted Samantha after she posted about us. Anonymity emboldening hate. Age gap predator, comments read. She deleted the post, shaken. Is this the freedom we fought for? The incident sparked deep reflection. The moral ambiguity of our start, mentor to lover, fueled debates in her mind. Had power dynamics tainted consent? Betrayal resurfaced when Mark reappeared, emailing apologies. I was wrong to out you. Samantha met him for closure, returning conflicted. He says he's changed, questions his own path. Jealousy flared in me, irrational. Don't let him manipulate you. The exchange highlighted her lingering ties to her old life, pulling her back. A major clash erupted over family reconciliation. Linda invited Samantha home for Christmas. No judgments. Tempted, she wavered. Maybe they've softened. I saw red flags. It's a trap to pull you back. The fight escalated, words weaponized. You're controlling just like them, she yelled. Hurt, I stormed out, wandering the cold streets, questioning everything. Reconciliation came slowly. We attended couples therapy, unpacking layers, my fear of abandonment, her guilt over family rift. The therapist challenged. Love demands sacrifice, but at what cost to self? Insights flowed. Samantha admitted suppressing resentment. I confessed holding back emotionally. Awakening moments dotted the journey. Samantha spoke at an LGBTQ panel, sharing her story anonymized. Applause bolstered her, affirming the fight's worth. This pain led to truth, she said later, eyes shining. Inspired, I volunteered too, mentoring queer youth, channeling our struggles into good. But the price mounted. Financially strained from moves, emotionally from isolation. Old friends distanced, new ones formed slowly. Samantha's health suffered. Stress-induced migraines, therapy helping but not curing. The ultimate test came when Tom suffered a minor heart scare. Linda called, desperate. He wants to see you. Samantha agonized, go and risk regression or stay and bear the guilt. What if I regret not going? She pondered. I supported whatever choice, but inwardly feared losing her. She went alone. Hours later she returned transformed. Dad apologized, sort of. Said he doesn't understand but loves me. Tears flowed, progress fragile but real. Linda hugged her goodbye, whispering, bring sage next time? It was a crack in the wall, hope flickering. Our bond strengthened through the ordeal. We celebrated small victories, a quiet anniversary dinner, plans for the future. But shadows lingered. The ethical debates, the what-ifs. Had we done right by each other? As winter thawed, Samantha proposed a trip. Escape to reflect. In the mountains amid serene vistas we confronted the core. Was it worth it? She asked, hand in mine. The question hung, encapsulating the drama's essence. The choices, damages, growth. The mountain air carried a crisp clarity that mirrored the revelations unfolding between us. But as Samantha posed that pivotal question, a silence fell, heavy with the accumulated weight of our tumultuous path. Yes, I finally said, though the word tasted bittersweet, laced with the scars we'd earned. Back in the city, that affirmation propelled us forward. But the journey's end was no fairy tale, only a hard-won equilibrium amid ongoing storms. Reintegration with family progressed haltingly. Samantha visited her parents, more boundaries set firm. Tom engaged awkwardly, avoiding the topic. But his presence signaled thaw. Linda baked Samantha's favorites, a silent olive branch. Yet undercurrents of disapproval simmered. Subtle comments on traditional families. Samantha navigated with grace, but each visit drained, reinforcing her choice's cost. Conditional love over full acceptance. My career stabilized at the new school, where diversity was celebrated. I led a GSA club, empowering students like young Samantha once was. Fulfillment bloomed, but memories of lost stability haunted. The secure suburban job traded for authenticity's uncertainty. Colleagues became friends, sharing similar tales, reminding me we weren't alone. Our relationship matured, intimacy deepening through shared trials. We adopted a rescue dog, symbolizing commitment without rings. Yet, discussions turned to future marriage, perhaps kids via adoption. But societal hurdles loomed. Legal protections varied, prejudices persisted. Are we ready for more battles? Samantha mused. I nodded. Strength forged in fire. Community involvement anchored us. Samantha rose in her firm, spearheading pride initiatives. She mentored at the center, paying forward support. One mentee's story echoed hers, parental rejection, self-doubt. Guiding her, Samantha confronted her own residuals. I still wonder if I hurt them too much. Therapy continued, peeling layers of trauma. A final confrontation brewed when the neighborhood forum post resurfaced, linked to a local news blurb on suburban scandals. Reporters called, seeking quotes. We declined, but the exposure rattled. Tom, seeing the piece, reached out. This has gone too far. His call to Samantha sparked dialogue, admitting fears, expressing regret. I don't agree, but I want my daughter back. Tears bridged gaps. No full embrace, but progress. Betrayal's sting faded as Mark faded out, his change superficial. Samantha cut ties, choosing forward momentum. Inner peace eluded fully, though nights of what-ifs. What if she'd stayed closeted? Happier? Safer? But those paths felt hollow now. Our stories ripple affected change. Friends confided hidden truths, inspired by our visibility. One neighbor came out, crediting our courage. The price? Isolation from some, but enrichment from others. Moral ambiguities lingered. Did love excuse the pain caused? The age dynamic, the secrecy's deceit. As spring bloomed, we hosted a small gathering. Allies, new family of choice. Laughter filled the air, a contrast to past tensions. Samantha toasted. To choices, right or wrong, they led here. Glasses clinked, but in quiet after she whispered, do you regret teaching me to drive? I smiled, never. It drove us to truth. The awakening culminated in advocacy. Samantha wrote an op-ed, anonymized, on coming out's costs in conservative pockets. It sparked debates online, supporters praising bravery, detractors decrying disruption. Reading comments, she reflected. We challenged norms, but at what ethical line? Life settled into a rhythm, drama's intensity waning but lessons enduring. We traveled, built memories untethered by past. Yet the journey's essence remained. Decisions dominoes, each fall reshaping lives. In the end, as we stood on our balcony overlooking the city lights, Samantha turned to me with a thoughtful gaze. The path had been fraught with confrontations, betrayals, sacrifices, and awakenings, each character paying dearly for authenticity amid societal chains. Was it right to pursue a love that upended so many lives, or should hidden truths remain buried to preserve fragile peace?